Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Crime Centric. This being a show where I talk about crime dramas that I like. For today's episode, I'm going to talk about the latest episode of American Gothic. First off, let's talk about, to me, very beginning. I'm very surprised that Brody actually told Tess about the whole belt thing. I mean, I guess it makes sense. It's like, oh, that's your wife and everything, so you would tell her. But it's just like, I don't know, I feel like as a cop, it's like, it's not really professionally okay for you to divulge information about the investigation like that. But then, I mean, it does pertain to her family, but still, that's not information you should be just throwing out willy nilly. I'm pretty sure his boss or that lady cop, what's her name, Cutter. I don't think she'll appreciate that. So, but I'm just surprised. Like, I thought that would have been something like, oh, he would have, continued. Like I said, I thought the story, would be the fact is, oh, I'm investigating behind your back, which technically doing what he did, stealing the DNA from her, getting it, from her hairbrush. It's like, okay, he's trying to investigating behind their backs. But I didn't expect him to actually be upfront with them about that. So, I mean, she has to give him credit for that. I mean, she got super pissed about, oh, how can you go back behind my back, even though my family agreed that it's not the best thing. It's like, well, your family's not necessarily, I mean, granted, Cam brought it up, the fact that she's so trusting in everyone, but it's like your family's not that trustworthy. They're actually kind of terrible people. It seems like it. Allison's just kind of a very self-absorbed person in her own thing, and as we see, Madeline's she's not an angel. She's almost a devil in disguise with a lot of the shady stuff that she's done, as well as the shady stuff that she's hiding. But she got, Tess got super upset. Like, oh, you're going behind my back. You did that even though I told you not to. You betrayed my trust. It's like, if he didn't do that, your family would have been pushed through, pushed as, top suspects of, yeah, Cam has the belt. So him proving that the DNA on the belt isn't connected to them, could mean, oh, yeah, it's definitely, oh, your family's not involved. Which, granted, there was always the assumption that the blood was from the killer. Maybe the blood's from the victim. Don't know. We still haven't got the blood tested to see whose actual blood it is. We've only seen that it's we only know that it's not from that family. Maybe I don't know, because it could easily be a victim's blood. I mean, I feel like if it was a victim's blood, they would have tested it already. That would have just been the first thing, oh, this is so and so's blood. Or maybe it's an unknown, maybe there's another victim out there that we just don't know about. I mean, who knows? But, I kind of feel bad for Brady. I feel bad for Brady, but I kind of get where Tess is coming from. But a part of me is you still need to cut him some slack. He's in a very awkward position because he had to, he was trying to prove your family's innocence, but everyone was like, oh, don't give your DNA to cops so twisted. Which I guess they could, but I guess she would know about, manipulating cops, to do something else. Because let's not forget what she tried to do last episode, using the cops to kind of keep Garrett busy so he wouldn't be at his dad's funeral. So I guess she would know. But also at the same time, it seemed like Cam was reluctant to give up his DNA too, because it seems like maybe there's some stuff from his past that he doesn't want his blood on record to be connected to. Because basically, once they get his DNA, it's they'll have access to it. They could be like, oh, so let's see if Cam's connected to any cases in the past, see if his DNA leads us to any past things. With the way he acted about the whole, tapes from his therapist, it's yeah, he's got some stuff to hide. Because he was there all we saw was a mention of, oh, he was I'm going to tell you about the body. That was it. That was as far as we got. So it's what the hell does that mean? Possible theory, Cam came across a body when he was younger. Not that he killed the person, but just because he saw the body, kind of became enamored by it. And he thought it was nice. Or maybe, someone died in front of him or something like that. And that was him kind of talking about it. And he had very dark, twisted things to say. But I don't know. We haven't seen the full extent. That's just some theories I'm randomly throwing out there. He's letting his wife/ex-wife drag him through do some shady stuff. I don't know. Like I said, it seems like she's doing it a little bit because she's oh, don't worry, Cam. Everyone's turned against you, but I'm here for you. Kind of that type of thing. She helped him out with the whole stealing files things, and now it's oh, you can stay over and want a snack or something. Oh, can I just stay? She's of course, kind of even throwing in a suggestion of maybe Jack would be okay if the two of them kind of get back together. And so it's she's trying too hard to push Cam into a position where he needs her. I mean, granted, after what Allison did, basically I'd be like, oh, like, what's wrong with you? We've tried to help you, mom's tried to help you. All this entire family has sacrificed so much for you, yet you keep screwing up. It's like, what's it going to take to fix you? Or maybe it's just impossible to be fixed. It's like, wow, thanks a lot, sis. Like, your brother already feels like crap and you're tearing him down even more. Why? Because of some stupid, something that only affects her. She's like, it's for the best of the family, but screw it. It's only for you. She sits here and like pontificates like, oh, like I'm doing this for everyone else. It's like, no, you're not. You're selfish. All you care about is yourself. That's what this is all about. You just want to further your own political career. It's like, let's take, for example, like, how from when she's using her husband as he's kind of just like eye candy. It's like, oh, to help keep the image of like the perfect home life or whatever. Because it does, I don't know what her husband actually does for a job specifically. What I interpreted from it was like, oh, like I'm not actually working because you want me to help you with the whole campaign thing. So either he's taking time off of work to be a full like stay-at-home dad until the whole campaign's over, or he's juggling looking after the kids as well as helping her with the campaign as well as like doing work as well. I don't know, like his job hasn't really come up per se, so which is kind of sad. It seems like she's like, yeah, okay, I got to deal with this campaign stuff, go take care of the children. Oh, bring the children out because we're about to do like take a photo disc. Everyone's gonna see. It's just like your priorities are all messed up. And to tear down your brother like that, it's like, I get it. He's got some issues. It's okay. You could think that as much as you want to, but just to say it out loud, just be like, almost just like, Cam, you're broken and there might be no way to fix you. It's just a shitty thing to say. And then there's the whole thing with her and Naomi. I thought they were having an affair the entire time. Don't know like how to interpret that. Whether that was just like, maybe it's always been like subtle flirting between them, holding hands, every once in a while locking eyes, those glances between lovers type of thing, like even though you're not lovers, maybe they've been having an affair the entire time. To me it seems like maybe not. I don't know, like Allison was too okay with her kissing her, like because Naomi like leaned in, kissed her like very passionately, I might add. And Allison wasn't just like, I don't know about this, my marriage. And no, she didn't say jack squat, so I'm getting a feeling it was. Like, I've already established, like, oh, you having an affair is no problem. But it's like, it's like, to be honest, like, that's, to me, you're just so adamant about everything falling into this specific, like, everything has to fit this specific mold because it'll help your image in front of everybody. But, it's like, if you're not happy, then divorce your husband. I mean, granted, it might be going that route anyway because he's tired of being her toy. Like, it does seem like he legitimately was trying with her because he was like, oh, I can help you. I'll give you some ideas about, helping with the campaign. But she like completely blew him off and started listening to Naomi because Naomi was almost like, oh, that's such an interesting idea, you fucking idiot. Now, let me tell you a really good idea. Like, that's how I interpreted that. Like I said, not exactly what she said, but you could tell the meaning in just her mannerisms and the way she was talking to him. And then Allison was like, oh, but we could use my husband's help. It's just like, yeah, you're only saying that because he's there. You can see he's just biting his tongue. He's just like, shut up. You're just manipulating. It makes you wonder, does he know about them or what? But he's like, basically like, yep, I bought your dad's business because your mom's selling it, which that in itself is kind of like, why the hell is she selling the business? Like, oh, it's too much to handle by myself. It's like, no, there's stuff connected to that business that you're trying to stay as far away from. Because let's not forget, the belt was found in cement that comes from their company. So that's all it is. She's trying to distance herself from the company. That's why she was selling, which granted, Allison was like, no, don't sell the company. What about dad's legacy? Which you can translate to be, don't sell the company. If you want to sell the company, at the very least, wait till my campaign is over. That way we can still maintain our powerful position, as well as that business, I guess, could draw in potential people to, help her with her campaigning. Just like that other guy she brought in, the one that basically the whole deal got screwed over because of the whole Cam situation, because Cam got caught stealing those, breaking into that office and stealing those recordings. Well, he broke one of them. I don't know if he actually stole them. The person that was taking the pictures of him, I thought it was the therapist. I guess I was wrong. I was like, oh, the therapist caught him, but she didn't say anything the next day. I mean, granted, that could have been something else, but I automatically thought it was the therapist. You couldn't really get a clear view of the person, but maybe it wasn't the therapist. I thought it was, but it ended up being the mayor, who is played by Enrico freaking Elias. That was just like, I was like, because I saw his names when the actors' names were popping. I was like, Elias is in this. That's so cool. I'm sorry. Nevertheless, that was just, that mayor blackmailing her like that. I was like, wow. It's just like every time you turn around, it's like there is some shady stuff going around this town. So she kind of had to endorse him rather than getting an endorsement from that other guy, saving Cam's bacon, but still makes you wonder, will that come back? Will he still kind of hold that over her head for something else or not? I don't know. There's the whole situation with Garrett in this episode. Was very fascinating because it's basically that lady who was following around. I didn't know what direction that was going to take, but then it's like at the end, it's like, oh yeah, we should find out she's like maybe a nurse, a doctor, something like that, maybe even a veterinarian, who knows. But it was like he was taking all those notes where I was like, okay, it's trying to make it seem like, okay, you're SBK and you're trying to pick out your next victim or something, but it's like, no, apparently she's the daughter of one of SBK's victims. So I'm interpreting that as, I mean, it could be like, obviously the easy route is like, oh, him coming after the next generation of his victims. Or it could just be like, because he wants to get to know these people who've been affected by SBK, because he really knows who SBK is, because of whatever secrets his family is hiding. I don't know. Like, I'm leaning towards the latter, because I don't think Garrett is SBK. I know, like, it seems like all the evidence is pointing towards him. Granted, there's stuff pointing towards Cam now, but it was just like, I was so adamant about it. It's too freaking obvious. It's like, of course, the estranged son is a killer. It's like, it's too obvious. I mean, granted, you never know. It might be like all these twists and turns to be like, oh, it's like, oh yeah, it is him. It's like, oh, and then it's not him, but oh, it turns out it was him all along, because they're having cases like that. I do enjoy those twists, but I feel like I'd enjoy it more if it was someone else. But who knows? I mean, won't really know until the very end. Then we had that whole situation with Molly, the woman he apparently was going to marry in the past, like the woman he was with before he up and disappeared 14 years ago, just like left everything behind. He gave the BS response of being like, yeah, it dealt with my dad. Like, there were so many expectations of who I'm supposed to be. I didn't want to be that person. I don't know. Maybe, obviously, whatever is going on now with SBK is connected to, like, whatever reason he left. Maybe he stumbled upon some kind of, like, secret that his family is connected to SBK. Not necessarily that they are, like, oh, like, anyone in their family is the killer. Maybe their family covers up his killings. They help him get away with it. Maybe, and that's something Garrett would have inherited, but he decided not to inherit that or something. Don't know. Just a theory to throw out there. But then the moment Molly popped up and was like, his mom set you up, she set this whole thing up, and it's like, it's so obvious. It's too much of a coincidence for you to bump into her, especially because we saw his mom looking through his stuff and saw that picture. I was like, obviously. I was actually surprised that she actually brought it up herself. Like, I mean, they were getting hot and heavy, and he kind of pushed her away because she was asking about those scars. I'll get to that in a second. But I was like, dude, it's like, I was like surprised that she actually, I was like, this is a terrible idea. Your mom, I don't know what I was thinking. Your mom can talk me into doing that. I went to that shop for like that specific coffee place for like 3 days. And it's like, wait, what? She's like, your mom set the whole thing up. I thought what was going to happen, be like, okay, we see them kind of rekindle their relationship, and then at the very end of the episode, we see Molly and his mom sitting down talking, and then in that moment, it gets revealed, like, oh, it was a big setup. It's granted, I knew it was a setup from the beginning. Just moment she appeared, I was like, his mom set this up. There's no way that just happened. Like, you just randomly happen to bump into, like, this early in him being back, he just getting back to town, and it's like, you just happen to bump into him, because he's kept a very low profile, so what are the chances of that? So, but what I was about to say is, I mean, I have no theories about the scars necessarily. My running theory was when we saw him cutting himself when he was in the truck, because his mom was like, oh, I want you to be happy. And he's like, don't you mean you're just trying to buy my time? She's like, oh, Ken, I want both. She's like, you need to let go of the past. and in a way that's not destructive. He's like, I don't know if I can. And it kind of cut to him cutting his hand. I was like, oh, so that's what the scars are. They're self-inflicted. And then it showed him, it cut to him with the doctor lady whose parent was like a SPK victim. I was like, oh, okay, it's not self-inflicted. Or maybe they are, but it's like that particular wound, it was just to get close to her. So it's like, don't know how to interpret that. Then finally we have Cam's side of the stories where basically Jack went to therapy, creeped the lady out with the whole like using their neighbor's teeth. It's like, of course, saw that coming. That, like I said, I brought it up last time, and I still don't know whether that kid is supposed to be as disturbing he is in a funny way, because I find it funny how disturbing it is because it's so cringy, like how it's like, kid, you are seriously disturbed, and just that little smile on his face. It's like, granted, it seems like, I don't know, like from what the little bit we've seen, it don't seem like him and Cam are that close to being the same. Like it seemed like he really, 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 really got into like, you know, being kind of having a dark side to it. It seemed like Cam might have only been like that because of drugs, but I don't know about Jack. Just seems like a very disturbed kid. It seems like the only person that doesn't get kind of about him being the way he is Garrett, but it's kind of like, oh, Garrett's not the most stable person. I don't know. I'm very interested, like, to find out more about what he's been through for these 14 years, find out what that reason is that he left in the first place. And also we had the whole Gunther situation, obviously killing himself at the end of the episode. Is it suicide? Was it murder? There's a whole little note saying, I'm sorry, especially after Mom pointed to him, just like, oh yeah, it could have, like, it is Cam's belt, but, you know, Gunther's been working here, he's been acting suspicious lately, I fired him. You know, it's just like, it seems like Gunther might know more than he lets on, because he was just like, she's like, oh, what's that whole thing with that raccoon? He's like, I just couldn't let it suffer. You know, no one deserves to die in a cage. And he looked at her like, kind of gave her a look. I was like, he knows a lot more than he's letting on, does it? Does he know that she killed, you know, Mr. Hawthorne? I can't remember their dad's name. But it's just like, no, Madeline didn't. Like, he knows that, or is it because he knows that plus whatever secrets they have? It's just like, I really don't know if it's suicide or whether he really did just, like, or did someone kill. I feel like someone had to have killed him. Like, I don't know. Madeline was with Tess when that went down, so it's kind of like, okay, she didn't really have time to do that. Not unless she hired someone to do it, nonetheless. I mean, it's not like she doesn't have the money to buy some, resource, like, outsource that to somebody. But, I don't know, it's like, what did he know? Maybe he did kill himself because he was like, I'm so tired of holding in these secrets and whatnot. Because the mom kept saying, like, oh, maybe those bells, I always assumed they were your dad's. Maybe they were his. It's like, you try too hard. It's seeping, you know? Just the evil, like, secrets you're hiding, it's just seeping through, and it's just like, I'm fascinated with every passing episode to see, not even just where this SBK thing goes, where everyone's lives take them, the whole Allison situation. Like, I get the feeling that, I don't know if I brought this up last time, but I definitely more so this episode, I'm thinking it's like, that Naomi situation is going to turn destructive. Basically, it's going to be like, oh, I'm rising up in the ranks, I'm getting closer to being, to the, you know, with this campaign, but it's like, oh, yeah, we are having a relationship. Like, you know, Naomi wants to be a little more affectionate, you know, when other people are around. She's like, no, we can't do that. This is, you know, here you're my campaign manager, but the moment doors, you know, we're behind closed doors, then we can, like, all make out and do what we did. Or maybe next episode is like, no, Naomi, that was a mistake. We can't let that happen again. I'm a married woman. I don't know. Like I said, with the way she was reacting, it didn't seem like it was kind of a first-time thing. It seemed like that had happened before. With the way they were texting in the first episode, she's like, I can't sleep. The way her and Naomi were touching, like holding hands, and like, you know, Naomi trying to comfort her. It wasn't just in a friend way. It was more like an extra friendly way. She was trying to comfort her. So, don't know. But I think, you know, eventually it's going to get to the point Naomi's like, I'm tired of being your dirty little secret, and, you know, becomes a problem that Allison has to deal with. Because Allison treats her like family, like their problems, like everyone around, specifically Cam. So it's like, it's going to be interesting to see what happens when she kind of has her own problems to deal with. I mean, granted, she does with her husband buying her father's company right underneath her, even though she was like, oh, don't do it. Just, you know, trying to keep him in check, you know. It's like, I guess in this situation, it's kind of like she kind of enjoys having power. So it's like, when she kind of loses control, it kind of throws her off balance. Like I said, very interested to see where everything goes, you know, next episode, as well as the rest of the series. But that's really all I want to talk about in this episode. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and goodbye.